A revolution is sweeping across the Middle East today. Thousands of young Arab men and women are rising up to take charge of their own destiny and working hard to reshape our region for the better. And it's not what you're thinking. I am talking about the entrepreneurial revolution that is remaking the Middle East today. Christopher Schroeder actually wrote a book about it recently. Christopher Schroeder wrote a book about it recently. He calls it the Quiet Arab Revolution, one that is taking place away from the mainstream media spotlight, but one which I believe will ultimately do more to change the shape of our region for the better than anything else I've seen in my lifetime. I recently moved here from the Silicon Valley, California, to take part of this revolution. As I'm witnessing it take hold, I've been asking myself a few questions. Is this an isolated event in time and place, or is it part of a global trend that is shaping our world today? Would it be successful? Or perhaps a better question to ask is, what would make it succeed? And finally, why should we care? To help answer these questions, I look back to history to try to understand the factors that have enabled certain regional hubs throughout history to become cradles of innovations in philosophy, art, science, and technology. And I found some common patterns that gave rise to what I would call the innovative class. The group of people within a certain community who give rise to innovation within that community. And as a result, they etch the name of their city into history's books. In the 5th century BC, the cities of Athens and Sparta were the two most powerful cities in ancient Greece. Athens focused on open trade, education, and knowledge seeking. It opened its doors to outsiders, people like Aristotle. Sparta, on the other hand, was a closed society, more interested in building its military strength so that it can defend itself against the outsiders and against internal rebellions. In Athens, an innovative class emerged, and it made contributions to history and to the world in fields such as philosophy, art, literature, and governance systems. Sparta, on the other hand, is mainly remembered today in war movies. Later on, and closer to here, the city of Baghdad became the innovation hub of the world. Khalifa Harun al-Rashid and his son al-Ma'mun established Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, giving rise to Baghdad's innovative class. Scholars of Arab origins, such as al-Kindi, and non-Arab origins, such as al-Khawarizmi, converged into Baghdad, interacted and collaborated under a uniform and inclusive legal and financial system where they developed and created innovations that the world enjoys today. They made contributions in fields such as astronomy, physics, medicine, optics, and philosophy. Later on in the 15th century, the city of Florence also found itself at the intersection of commerce, finance, and art. And under the Medici family, they established an inclusive financial system that attracted thinkers, artists, and writers into the city, also giving rise to its innovative class. That class will later be the reason that Florence made its way into history's books as the center of the Renaissance. And more recently, in the 20th century, the Silicon Valley, where I spent 18 years of my life, gave birth to innovations, almost all the innovations, that have powered the information technology revolution. Innovations such as the microchips, personal computers, network routers, internet browsers, web search, smartphones, and of course, social networks. Silicon Valley was, and still is, a wonderful place for the innovative class, where entrepreneurs, scientists, engineers, designers, and artists came together to interact and collaborate to generate new ideas. Andy Grove, the founder of Intel, was born in Budapest. Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, was born in Moscow. And Jan Koum, the founder of WhatsApp, is a Ukrainian immigrant. All of these 4 innovation hubs share common characteristics: a diverse society that is at the intersection of cultures and disciplines, an inclusive legal and financial system, a stable political culture, and a passion for a certain type of pursuit. In the case of Athens, it was philosophy. In the case of Baghdad, it was scientific discovery. In the case of Florence, it was art and literature. And in the case of the Silicon Valley, it was and still is information technology. But what is different about today, in 2015, is that we are witnessing the emergence of innovative classes in various global cosmopolitan cities all over the world simultaneously. Places such as Berlin, Santiago, London, and Singapore are proactively expanding their innovative class by bringing together and inviting engineers, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, and designers to relocate to their cities and make them their homes, to interact and collaborate with their local communities to create new innovations, and to reap the rewards of their success through inclusive financial and legal systems. But there's a second reason behind the spread of innovation hubs today, and that is software. Most, not all, but most of innovative classes today in these cosmopolitan cities are forming around software technologies. Software creations are unique because they transfer at the speed of light, and they are shared openly within the global software community. So a programmer in London can invent a piece of code to solve a particular problem, and within minutes, people in New York, Korea, and Amman are copying and using that piece of software to solve completely different classes of problems. Software is an incredible foundation upon which local creative classes can create local solutions to local problems. Software, also as a technology building block, has the potential to improve and disrupt fields as far diverse as education, healthcare, philosophy, and commerce. To help appreciate how a technology building block can create and spur innovation in so many unrelated fields, I would like to digress for a second and look at an analogous technology, and that is glassmaking. By the mid-16th century, glassmaking processes have matured, and glass windows, have become commonplaces in building construction. By then, glass had already revolutionized construction. I mean, can you imagine buildings today without glass windows? Around the same time, glass also gave birth to another invention, spectacles, lenses. They're called lenses because they're shaped like lentil beans. By then, glass had already also revolutionized education because along with the printing press, it enabled the masses to turn from illiterates to book readers. Glass was also behind the invention of the telescope, paving the way to a revolution in medicine. The microscope, for the first time, enabled humans to see the invisible patterns the invisible colonies of viruses and bacteria. Glass was also behind the invention of the telescope, which Galileo would later use to determine that Earth revolves around the sun, giving birth to modern astronomy. And more recently, in the 20th century, glass making also paved the way to another invention, the fiberglass. Today, 10 fiber optic cables lay deep underneath the Atlantic Ocean, carrying data, voice, videos, and images from between Europe and the Americas, and enabling the information technology as we know it today. And like glass making, software making, which is the art of combining codes into creative, innovative fashions and products, also enabled and disrupted fields as diverse as education, healthcare, and commerce. It has already, in fact, done that. Today, the largest retail company in the world is a software company, Amazon.com. The largest media company in the world is also a software company, Netflix. The largest transportation company is a software company, Uber. And would it surprise you if I tell you that in the near future, the largest bank in the world will also be a software company managing assets and deposits in 100% digital currency. So, the Arab entrepreneurial revolution we're witnessing today is really the result partly of the rise of the Arab software innovative class. The group of software engineers and designers that are huddling around conference centers, in incubation centers in Amman, Cairo, Dubai, and here in Doha, working and collaborating with people from other cultures and disciplines to create new innovations. Yes, we are still at the very early stages, and yes, we have a long road to go. But I'm hopeful that we will start seeing soon homegrown software solutions to seemingly intractable local problems, such as traffic congestions in Cairo and here in Doha, inadequate public education in places like Egypt, poor healthcare services in countries like Syria, and government corruption pretty much everywhere. We're still at the first phase. We have a long way to go. But if we want our city to be at the forefront of this Arab software revolution, we should take a page or two from history, embrace the diversity of culture, disciplines, and expertise, establish an inclusive financial and legal system, and support and nurture our software innovative class. Thank you very much.